Hey everyone, this is Kathleen Elliott with another student simulation hack. I'm going to tell you what I've learned about rounds 4 through 6, which have been my favorite so far. I'm just a student like you are. What you'll see here is just my opinion and mostly just from memory. Once you finish a round set, you can't go back and look at the screens from previous rounds. There will be places where you'll have to match up what you're seeing and your own experience with what I'm saying. My main goal is to help you with some of the housekeeping aspects of this program so that you're really able to work with and play with this program to get the most out of it. The main thing I've learned is to have a mind shift. I know what I like, but now I have to consider what others like. Up until now, I have been and still am a buyer. As a social media marketer, you're a seller. Your job boils down to doing 3 things. Pick a platform, pick media, and pick words. Put them into a funnel, and if you've done everything well, you'll produce conversions. Stukent World is one that tries to teach you what works best based on research and data, not personal opinion. If you have your own business, you have a unique message and product, and again, you have the experience of being a buyer, most likely. We do bring those things to the table. That said, it's time to develop the seller mentality. 90% of what you do now is to combine these 3 things: words, media, and a platform, funnel it through and hit your goal. If your goal isn't money, the formula still holds true. Media, platform, words, funnel, goal. What's another word for funnel? Human beings, aka your audience. Rounds 4 through 6 are largely about your audience. Think about it. Your next customer is out there on their platform of choice, typing something they want into the search bar. When they click that looking glass and the search starts, where are you? You're on the same platform as they are, with your words and images ready to hand them what they want. I recommend making one big general audience for most of your purposes that basically uncovers everyone and everything you can think of. I did have a couple of smaller, more targeted audiences, and I'll remind you here that this is just what I did. Ultimately, this is your grade, your audience. For example, I made an audience that I called the mom audience for Pinterest. That might be a personal bias, but when I think of Pinterest, I think of moms, crafts, kids, that type of thing. Be careful with personal biases though. Remember that this is a computer program, and in Stukent World as well as the real world, you need to use real statistics and data. Okay, now let's do this. Again, I can't actually go back and see rounds 4 through 6, but luckily important information carries through from round to round. If you haven't spent a lot of time on these resources, now is the time to revisit them. From the main screen of your round, click Resources at the bottom of the screen. Then click on Buoy's Social Media Audit. You'll be taken to Stukent's social media audit page. You've likely already seen each platform's statistics. Here I have just pulled out the gender reveals of each platform so that you can see them all at once. One thing Stukent wants you to do in developing your audience is to think about the gender you are targeting. Their choices in Stukent World are female, male, or both. If you look at all of the platforms like this all at once, you can see that they're pretty much half and half. I'm thinking about that customer in front of the search bar. Most of the time it's 50-50 whether that person is male or female, so why not choose both? Let's go back to this main screen, and now we're going to click on Scenario Overview. With this thought in mind, to keep things non-biased, and because Stukent suspiciously offers this information, I went back to their audience for clues. I mean, why are they going to give us this information? There must be a reason. So click on the Market tab to see who Stukent's audience is. Here are all of the people they list. So I've decided the big general audience that I'm creating will be both genders. Now I'm going to look for other clues to add. We start with energetic Jill, who's about 1/10 of everyone in Stukent world. She's young and has a lower budget, although she makes more than I did when I was her age. Of the platforms Stukent offers, because again, we're living in Stukent world, which one is she on? Instagram, it's pretty much a no-brainer. Look at the box I've highlighted in red, because for these rounds, her interests are important. What are Jill's interests? You need them for building your audience. You will see that they give you a box for adding interests, and you may skim by that option, but don't. You're not penalized for adding interests, but you may miss an opportunity if you don't add any. They're there for a reason. You may think, well, what do I put? So you're looking at Jill's interests for what I call meaty words to use. There's fitness, there's dance, there's aerobics, there's yoga, tote, duffel, sporty bag. We already had sports, I think, but there's sports and carry-on and gym. I mean, if I can't think of any words to add in that interest category, why not use Jill's words? They're right there. Go through each person and look for their meaty interest words to add to your general audience. So here we have up-and-comer Raj. He has a new job. He's looking for a stylish professional messenger bag. And we can use the word laptop. We can use the word documents. We can use meetings, travel, work, free time, reading. I mean, just whatever you think. Just pick out your meat words and add them to interests. I don't know what the limitation is on that area, but I added a whole bunch of them and it didn't seem like that it was a problem. I am going to add Seaside Sally's interest words to my general audience, but as I look at her, she might be a mom, or at least children are involved. It says so, children's toys. If I decide to make a separate mom audience in Stukent World, my mom audience will use her interest words. I do also think about her potential platforms. As I said before, I think of Pinterest, but Facebook might also be a good choice. There might be others, but those two are a good start. They don't say City Hopper Sue is a mom, but her age and gender in Stukent World may have me adding her words to my mom audience. Mom audience isn't the only audience out there. You may not even want one. There are other categories to consider. Maybe you'd like to build a business audience or an outdoor person audience. Whatever your audience is, try to think of interest words that go along with that audience, possibly based off the market characters here. Don't forget, no matter what audience you build, you're still trying to sell a product. Look at what your product is and make sure those words go into your audience that you're building. Here we're trying to sell buoy bags, so go back and look for all the buoy bag words that you can and enter those in your large general audience. I actually recommend adding those to any audience that you build. They also say something about OG line. You know, we're focusing on our OG line. I'm really not sure how relevant those particular bags are. If I'm already putting backpack and tote, I feel like I'm covered. I might add OG just because this is a computer program and it may pick up OG. I have no idea, but again, why not? Do interest words really matter? I don't know. All I know is they offer the option and there must be a reason. Rather than struggle at what interest to put, I go back to my Stukent market and I list those words. It's Stukent World after all, and again, I don't recognize any penalty for using these words and using a lot of them. I remember my funnel and I need to put words in, and so I'm going to do it. Don't miss the option to save your audience. Good grief, you just spent 15 minutes creating it. Why not save it? As a note, if you add any interest to a saved audience in the future, Stukent will ask you if you really want to do that because the audience will change for every campaign you've assigned that audience to. If you're improving your general main audience, say yes. Your general main audience is the core bread and butter audience. That said, the pop-up warning gives you a chance to think about the audience you are targeting and the platform you're on. Just don't forget to save. There are a few drop-down boxes and other features that I don't want you to overlook. Scan the page and choose something. Use all of the features possible. In general, if something in the earlier round's beginning video from the VP of Marketing told you to try for conversions, choose conversions, if you're given the option to do so. If you're told you're trying to increase engagements, you might choose engagement. Just pay attention to every detail and choose something. If it's there, you're going to assume that it's there for a reason. Just some final thoughts. From the get-go, rounds 4 through 6 have more money to spend. You don't have to schedule each post by day and time. I understand the point of having to do that in rounds 1 through 3, but it did become fiddly. There, I wish there was a calendar and clock that you could click multiple choices on for each campaign rather than pick them one by one, but that said, those days are over. In rounds 1 through 3, I sometimes had trouble using all of my budget, but here, don't dismiss prior purchases. Use them if you want. You'll automatically spend down your budget just by scheduling them. Concentrate on bright professional images. You have enough money to look at videos. At first, I automatically equated videos with YouTube, but don't do that. Think about the length of the video and what platform you could put them on, depending on your target. I don't know if the program specifically picks up on numbers, but I found I had good success by offering discounts in numbers, like number format, like 10%, $5 off. Last but not least, don't go crazy. Stick to 7 to 12 posts per week per platform. Thank you for hanging in there, and I hope this helps you. I made this because I really have loved playing with the Stukent platform. If I've forgotten something about round 4 through 6, please comment below. Share your hacks, and most of all, have a happy time and good luck in Stukent world.